10, 10, 10, 20, 20, 20, 10, 20. What's up, guys? I was asked to make a video on food labels and reading them, and that's something that I've got pretty accustomed to over the last decade. It's one of those things. It's a good skill to have, and it's good to learn, and it's something in conjunction with weighing out your food. And I'm somebody who recommends that everybody weighs out their food for at least a couple months at some point in their life, just so you can get a good idea of what a serving size is, and eyeballing it. Especially peanut butter, man. It's heartbreaking the first time you actually weigh out a serving of peanut butter and see how little it is for how many calories there are in it. If you're somebody that's watching your weight anyway. But onto the food labels themselves. So, okay, I've rerouted and I've put this part at the front intentionally. I've made a video on this, but I want to reiterate calorie-free foods. Food labels in America, if a single serving is less than 5 calories or 5 calories or less, it can be listed as 0 calories. So if you look at a lot of these calorie-free foods, they will have like just an ungodly amount of servings within them, and that is the loophole. So if something says 0 calories, but it's got like 100 servings or 60 servings, I would just multiply that by 5 to be safe. So if it's got 60 servings, I would multiply it by 5 and 300 calories for the total contents. Editor Dennis here. Actually, if you go back and you look on the label there, it's the first two ingredients are olive oil, of course, and then soy lecithin. So based on both of those, there's 7 ounces in this container. Olive oil is like 250 calories per ounce. Soy lecithin is 216 calories per ounce. So just say 250 per the 7 ounces, and you're looking at 1,750 calories probably minimum in this can here. And you'll see later as the video goes on, you know, the ingredients are listed in order of, you know, contents. So it's a pretty safe bet there that this 0 calorie 665 serving thing of olive oil spray is actually, you know, closer to 2,000 calories in the whole thing, and you're going to use way more than one serving at one time. Because those calories can add up, especially if you think you're actually using 0 calories. And the servings will be extremely small. Like if you take the calorie-free cooking oil sprays, it's like a quarter of a second of a spray is one serving, and there will be hundreds of servings. I'll probably put it on here. But I wanted to put that first and foremost. I started to talk about this at the very end, and I cut myself off, and I wanted to put that way up front. Almost all of these calorie-free foods and calorie-free syrups and sprays and stuff are not truly calorie-free, and in the United States, they can be labeled as such. So make note of like how many servings are in this container, because it will be a large amount, and then multiply it by 5, and that will put you on the high end of what the calories will be, and you can use that information to keep your calories under control if you are somebody who is actively cutting or looking to, you know, keep your calories under a certain number. We're going to start. I'm going to put a food label somewhere on the screen, and this is sugar-free, non-fat Greek yogurt. That's the Kroger store brand Simple Truth. I leaned on this a lot during my cut. I still eat it pretty regularly. It is, there's basically 2 whole pounds of Greek yogurt for 350 calories in this tub. So you can gorge yourself with the whole tub of this, and it's only 350 calories. And 75 grams of protein. It's just the most godly poverty macros of any yogurt I've ever seen. So it's great for cutting, and you can add other things to it because it's so low in calorie. But anyway, so if we look at it, the first thing we want to look at, calories. Calories, big bold calories. That's great. That's what we want to see. And then secondarily, you want to look at the macros. It's got, 0 grams of fat, 7 grams of carbohydrates and 15 grams of protein per serving. So we've got those serving guidelines. How many servings are in the container? There's 5. So what we can do with that, obviously, you multiply everything by 5 and you get the total for the entire tub if you were like me and you're going to eat the entire tub. However, what we can also do, if you're not somebody who wants to weigh out foods, which is fine. I don't weigh out foods anymore. Again, do it for a little bit just so you can get an idea of it. Good tool to have in the toolbox. But I know if I'm going to, eat 5 separate times out of this tub, then I can just go ahead and count it as 1 serving when I do it. And that's even, I may technically eat 1.3 servings this time, 0.07 servings next time, 1.5 servings the time after that, 0.5 servings the time after that, and then 1 serving on the last time. But I can count each of those as 1 serving because at the end of the week or whatever, the total calories and macros that I consumed is equal. Even if it's slightly more, slightly less each time I eat out of it. If I'm going to eat out of it, 5 times, it's fine. Likewise, if I eat half of it, I can, multiply these numbers by 2.5. And even if I had, 3 servings and then 2 servings and not exactly 2.5 servings each time, it's going to balance out. It's all the same. Unless, you are prepping for a bodybuilding show or something where you need to be exact, it is not that big a deal. So what I want to point out also is that this is showing 7 grams of carbohydrates, but 5 grams of erythritol. Erythritol is a sugar alcohol. It's a substitute for sugar. It is, I want to say it's like 1/4 of a calorie per gram. But the way erythritol works is it gets absorbed into your bloodstream and excreted as urine. We can't really digest it anyway, so we don't absorb any of it. So it's a good 0-calorie sweetener, sugar substitute. If you're somebody who's not into chemicals, bro, obviously, avoid this. I don't think it's that big a deal. It doesn't bother me. I'm happy for the trade-off in the macros. And if we look underneath the macros, it has the vitamins and minerals. This isn't really extremely potent in vitamins and minerals. And a lot of things, they'll just kind of give you a short list. You can Google up whatever you're looking at. I would like the brand, the name of the product. And some websites will go more in depth with some smaller trace minerals and stuff that are on it. But yeah, that's the gist of the food label. Your calories, your macros, your servings. I would note that there's 0 fiber in this. Fiber is something to look at along with the carbohydrates, and we'll get into that in a minute too. So next, and I'm going to change pictures, I think, the ingredient list. And ingredients are always listed to what's like found most in it to what's found least in it. So this is water. Water is the number 1 ingredient in this. So the major composition of this is water. Not necessarily the major composition. It's just the most concentrated ingredient, if you will. So if it were, say, 20% water, obviously 80% is other things. But of that 80%, none of these other items is more than 20% of that 80%. I think that makes sense. So you got water, skim milk, milk protein isolate, erythritol. So erythritol is up there. It's one of the bigger ingredients. In high doses, erythritol can cause some digestive problems. I think it has to do with the way the bacteria sees it fermenting in your gut. Something along those lines that somebody more scientifically qualified than me can say. But just know that consuming large amounts of erythritol can cause digestive issues for some people. So keep that in mind. There's a lot of razzle-dazzle in this. It is chemically, again, but for the very extremely low poverty macros that are in this and for the high volume of it, I will make that trade-off with chemicals. The poison is in the dose. And a good example I like to give with that is vitamin C. Good. right? We can all agree vitamin C is good, helps you. Sugar, bad, evil sugar, makes people get fat, etc., etc. Most people will agree that, sugar from a health perspective is bad. However, the lethal dose to kill you of vitamin C is lower than the lethal dose of sugar to kill you. So, vitamin C good, but it will kill you with less than sugar, which is bad. So again, the poison is in the dose. Keep these things in mind. There's active cultures in this. It's yogurt. That's one of the big draws of yogurt is the the good bacteria that comes from it. But just this one is kind of chemically. I'm going to show you another yogurt I'm going to put on. This is Faye. I like saying Faye. This is the plain non-fat Faye. This has a little bit more calories. This one's not flavored, but it also has more protein per serving. This is not sugar-free, so there's 5 grams of carbs in this per serving, and they are all from sugar. However, these are natural sugar. There's no added sugars to this. That's another something some of you guys can look out for. Again, added sugar doesn't really bother me in the grand scheme of things, as long as the total macros are on point. I don't concern myself with that a whole lot. If you are somebody who is concerned with that, that is something to make note of. Again, there is 0 fiber in this. This has a little more potassium than the sugar-free non-fat variant we just looked at. This is a thicker consistency as well. You can tell a big difference in this and the other one. You're only 20 calories more per serving. Again, this one is a non-flavored one, but I like to add like frozen fruits and stuff to this one. And this is super thick. This is just a great quality yogurt. You'll pay a little more for this one, but it's very delicious. And then on the ingredients on this, you'll notice a much smaller ingredient list. Skim milk. This isn't watered down. It's just skim milk and active yogurt cultures. That's it. So this is, if you're a natty food bro, this is something for you. This is produced without use of RBST. RBST is a hormone that's given to cows to increase milk production. Again, if you're one of those hippie people, this is good for you. There's, nothing added in this, no extra chemical bros. The cows aren't given hormones for their milk production. So, maybe this is something that Paul Saladino would consume. But not in his oats, because he's not going to eat oats. Anyway, so just wanted to kind of show you the difference there between two very similar products. They're pretty similar in macros, pretty similar in calories, pretty similar in volume. However, much different ingredient list. And here we have some chia seeds, and you can see on the ingredients, it's just organic chia seeds. These are high in fiber, extremely high in fiber. So for you older folks like myself, we're aging a little bit. These things become more important. This pairs great with the yogurts I showed you. It adds texture. There's not a lot of flavor with chia seeds, but the added texture is great, especially like the strawberry flavored, the plain sugar-free one I showed you. You throw this in there and it's almost like the little seeds that are on strawberries. So it gives you a good textural sensation, like you're eating strawberries almost. There's definitely more vitamins and minerals in chia seeds than this. Again, it's something you could just Google chia seeds nutrition and you could see a more detailed breakdown. But take note of the fiber on there. We haven't talked about sodium yet. That's something else to pay attention to. As long as you are not somebody who, like hypertensive and things like that, consult with your doctor. I am obviously not a doctor. You can certainly add salt to things. As athletes, we want sodium, especially when we're sweating a lot. So keep that in mind as well. But I wanted to show you guys this because I wanted to mention fiber. I haven't mentioned fiber yet. That's something, again, important. You'll notice on this the fats, the saturated fat, the polyunsaturated fat, monounsaturated fat. That's something that you pay attention to. Take note of this. These are, this is obviously plant-based fats, if you will. There's no added oils to this or anything like that. Again, if that is something that you Paul Saladino about, obviously you can pay attention to that, and that's what I will pull up on the next one. This is, and this I want to show you. I should have showed the front of this too, but this is Jif natural peanut butter. However, this is not natural peanut butter in the sense of natural peanut butter. This is something me and my wife compromise on. That's something, you guys will learn as you mature, that when you're in a long-lasting, successful relationship, my wife and I just celebrated 16 years together, you make compromises sometimes, and we do on peanut butter. She's not a fan of the natty peanut butter, the way it separates and stuff. It doesn't bother me a whole lot. So this is kind of our compromise. And there you can see typical macros. This does have added sugars in it. There is some fiber. There's some sodium. A lot of fat. It's what nuts and nut butters are good for. But I want to show you on the ingredients. Now this says that it's natural peanut butter, and again, maybe I'll get a picture off Google of what the front of it looks like. But this is something you can be. A lot of people are tricked by the fronts of things without looking at the ingredients, and this is why you should look at the ingredients if that is important to you. The first ingredient is peanuts, which is great, but however, it's got sugar, palm oil, which again, if the seed oil Saladino conspiracy people, definitely avoid this. However, palm oil, even amongst the seed oil nerds, is one of the lesser of the evils, if you will. Then contains 2% or less of salt molasses. So, a true natural peanut butter, the only ingredients are going to be peanuts and salt. That's it. And some of them there's no salt; it's just peanuts. But anything else, is added. In my eyes, it's no longer just a true natural peanut butter. However, this one, it's natty enough. It's YouTube natty, if you will. And it doesn't separate. It spreads well. So me and my wife compromise on this. But that's something I wanted to point out. That don't let the front of, food labels, the product, they're trying to sell you the product. The real kicker is on the back. It's on the ingredients. If you're somebody who's worried about natural or added sugars or things like that, you have to look on the back. GMOs, seed oils. Again, if these things bother you, you have to look on the back. You have to look at the ingredient list. Ingredients are listed in order of most to least. And if you're somebody who's going to compromise, how much of a compromise, you can kind of look on there and see. But yeah, the editing got wishy-washy there. I didn't have a good ending for this when I filmed it all. I was going to film an ending, and then I ended up putting what was going to be the end in the beginning because I felt like it was more important. So calories, macros, sodium, fiber, added sugar, ingredients. Those are all on the back. Learn how to read the back. Do not be fooled by the front telling you something is natural or something is low fat or sugar-free or healthy, or, shows a picture of, chickens on a farm, and it's not, a pasture-raised chicken, labeled product, things of this nature. I've made a video about chicken eggs before. So yeah, just don't be fooled. Arm yourself with the knowledge how to read the back of these food labels and all of their contents. Peace!